Hey guys, so I am going to, as requested, try to tell you guys a little bit about how we do our finance. If you have any questions, please let me know. We do an envelope type budgeting system, and it's funny because my husband always teases me. I'm a pretty stickler the way that I manage our money. We have a budget and we stick to it. We figured how every time Arlen's income changes, whether it's up or down or all around, we make a list of all of the expenses that are fixed that we have or the expenses that are necessary. We write down anything that we're subscribed to, anything that comes in, anything that we're paying, and we even categorize that as like things that we have to do, things that, things that can be adjusted in how much we do and whatnot. And so in that list we always include tithe, and we always include savings. Now the savings goes in the part that can be adjusted if needed, and we always put rent, food, any debt payments that we have, we always put those there. And our goal is always to make those debt payments as big as we possibly can. And we do kind of a modified snowball effect. So we have one debt that we're really working on. So everything else will be paying minimum or close to minimum payments. And then we have one that any extra money that we have after we do our budgeting or any extra money that comes in the month, it goes straight into that debt payment category. So that's what we do. We have some debt from remodeling our first house. We bought it and gutted it and put more money into it than we were able to get out. And we just paid off all of Arlen's business debt. We don't have any more business debt. Hurrah! And we still have my school loan, and we have property that we're trying to sell. So once we sell that property, we won't have any, and we should actually make money on that sale. So we do have that. And then we also have we had to buy a car when we moved here because neither one of our cars could make it across country. And this is the first car that we bought, and we have a very, very low we bought a used car that was inexpensive, so it's not a very big loan that we have out on that. So paying those off is kind of our first priority, and we've built our emergency savings up enough at this point. We're still working on building it, but it's up enough that it's really like helpful in case of emergency. If we had an emergency, we would be okay, but we still would like to build it up a bit more. So that's kind of the way that we do that. Now, once we have all of these essential areas filled, we go to areas that are a little less essential and just kind of break it up as to how essential it is. And so a lot of times we will look through and periodically we'll go through any subscriptions we have that we're not using, anything that we can cut back on, we will. Again, our goal is to always be trying to put as much money as we can into those debt categories. So we just tick it off and tick it off. Now, what happens, for example, if we get to the end of the month and we've used up our food budget, we get really creative. That rarely happens because I know that we only have that much. So we have, I'll just tell you this budget, I don't mind so much. We have budgeted $700 right now. At our current income amount, we have $700 a month budgeted for food, and that's what we have, period. And so I try and break that up. We get a CSA, so I know that comes out of it, and we do sometimes big shopping trips at Costco and stock up on like pantry items like oats and canned beans and frozen fruit and vegetables. And so I keep all of that in mind, and once we're out of money at the end of the month, we've just got to make meals and eat with what we've got. That's what we have. And Arlen and I get a little bit of allowance if we buy books or anything extra. It comes from that. We have a homeschool budget, so I can only spend that much. We have a budget for our gas. We have budgets for everything. And if an area goes over, like for example, we never go over with gas, but because we drive so little, but if we did go over with gas, we would have to pull money from one of our other budget categories and pull it over, and we are very strict about this. Now, we do not have a lot of discretionary spending built into our budget. We have chosen to do that because we want to pay off as much debt as we can. So I have an allowance and Arlen has an allowance, and that's discretionary spending, but beyond that, we just don't have it. And so what I have in our budgeting software, we use YNAB. It's YNAB, You Need a Budget is what it stands for. And it's an envelope type system. And what I do as with the title of each category, if we have something that we are saving for in that category, I will put it right beside the name with the amount so that I can always know. In our home budget, for example, let's say we were saving for a water filter or I don't know, a new appliance or anything, I would put that in there with the amount. And anytime I see something, like if I wanted some storage, well, I would have to say, okay, is this storage is going to eat into that budget and make it harder for us to get the thing that we're saving for? Is it worth it? Is it not? I try not to go to stores a lot because it's a whole lot easier to see things that I want. Whereas if I'm shopping online, it's easier for me to stay focused, get what I need, and be done. And that's just something that helps me a lot. It might not be the same for you. But I think that's just a lot about our budgeting. We're very, very strict. And for us, it feels less difficult because when we were first married, we literally had no discretionary money. We had a $150 budget for food, and that is what we had, period. We had enough money to pay our bills, and like, it was a long time, like I didn't even buy clothes, like we didn't have any discretionary money. So now what we use, even though it's probably small compared to what a lot of people do, it's really kind of fun to be able to save up a bit here and there. But again, it's all about saving, it's all about planning ahead and really sticking to it. So like, for example, some of the things that we do with our food budget, if we go out to eat, that comes from our food budget. We do not have a discretionary fund for going out to eat. So if we go out to eat, that eats into that. So that's part of why we don't go out to eat very much. It's part of what, I mean, of course it's the allergies and stuff, but it's expensive to go out to eat. So if we go out to eat, we could buy how many meals with that and make it stretch that much farther. So we just kind of, just play with those numbers. And the You Need a Budget app it's an online thing and it has an app. So if I'm going out or ready to buy something, I can always just pull up my app and see how much money I have in that budget, see what we're trying to save for, see if it's something that I want to do or not. Now, we do have a few budget categories. Like, for example, we have a medical category that is for doctor's appointments and things like that. We have a set amount that is the maximum that we will put in that, and anything beyond that will either roll over into savings or paying down debt. The reason being, we max that out as $1,000. If we have any medical expenses in a month that go over $1,000, we're prepared to dip into our savings for that. So we just, but we just save up and keep rolling it over, and I don't know. So that's kind of how we do it. I don't know if that's really helpful to you at all or if that answers any questions. I feel like I'm kind of at a loss of what to recommend to people because we just make a budget. We only have the amount of income that we have, and everything that we put in our budget has to fit under that. We usually actually try to keep it a little bit below that so that we have a little bit of a buffer if anything were to come up or if we were accidentally miscalculated or did something wrong. So like, let's say you had, I don't know, I'm just going to pick a random number. Let's say you had a monthly budget of $4,000. I don't know. I'm just randomly picking a number. We would try to have our monthly expenses come in at no more than $3,900, and we would try and keep it that way so that everything that we have budgeted adds up there. So that way we have a little buffer. Sometimes our finances have been tight and we haven't been able to do that, and other times we have. But we always try, we always put some back in savings, and I have the savings actually auto deducts from my account so that we don't forget it or miss it or whatever. But that's kind of what we do. We save up money. We have a budget category for birthdays, for Christmas, for all of that. So anything that we spend is accounted for. Every little cent is accounted for in our budget. And we stick to it. And that's basically how we do finances. So I think that's pretty much all I have to say. I don't know if that's helpful or not. Let me know if you have any questions below, and I'm happy to answer them or do a video that shows a little bit more. But that is it for us, and I hope that you guys have a good day. I'll talk to you later. Bye.